Oh, all right. Let's see the morning's damage. Huh. Can't be right. 0.6 pounds heavier than when I went to bed last night. Let's check this again. Ha! All right, Kev. Do not panic. This is why we have the origami protocol. Okay, here we go. All right. This is why we have these things. All right. Origami protocol. Do not let me down. 0.6 pounds. That's 6. Odd or even day. Odd. Are you currently wearing underwear? No. Cut out carbs for a week. There we have it. Origami protocol has Wait, what? Yo, what is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftandbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic manner. Today, we have finally hit my yearly breaking point.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
And thus, my annual video giving the double New York hello to weight loss diet culture. So if you're ever in New York, that's just, how people say hi. It's how I say hi to the production team every single morning. See? They love it. With being deeply immersed in the health industry for the last decade, there are a few things that have been blatantly obvious. We, as a society and people seeking health transformations, have been spending a lot of their time and energy focusing on the wrong things. Or should I say, thing, singular. The one metric that seems to rule them all, aka our obsession with weight loss. And for someone who's always talking in the perspective of gaining longevity or maximizing those healthy years of life and pushing them as far out as humanly possible, seeing the nonstop promotion of 20 pounds in 20 days like programs is straight sad, because they, more times than not, will do much more harm than good. Physically, psychologically, and emotionally. So today, we're gonna put things back in the perspective of this longevity thing. And I'm gonna tell you why you should stop focusing solely on weight loss and turn your attention to improving cellular and metabolic health, getting healthy from the inside out. And by the end of this video, you will have 3 overlooked and underestimated, actionable, long-term healthy habits to implement. I mean, since you have all these extra cognitive cycles now, because you're not stressing over the numbers on the scale.
I knew it! Okay, you guys are not gonna regret this. We're gonna get so much more activities done.
And if you didn't know, low-dose chronic stress is biopublic enemy number 1 when it comes to our short and long-term health woes. The more you know. First, let's touch on the problem with the scale. Here's the deal with the numbers on the scale. Like I alluded to before, many times they can cause more harm than good. And listen, there's no denying that increased body weight due to fat accumulation has a strong association with chronic disease. And chronic disease is obviously a longevity liability. Weight loss, when you have weight to lose, is beneficial. But let's do it in a healthy and sustainable way. Because focusing on obtaining quick weight loss by means of extreme restriction, rather than the formation of sustainable lifestyle habits, does nothing but set someone up for a depressing, emotionally draining relapse. And to be honest, tracking the numbers on the scale only gives you a 1,000,000-foot view of what actually may be happening on the inside. It simply does not reflect any biomarkers that are actually useful, like glucose and insulin levels, especially after meals, blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, current stress status, inflammation and immune activity, metabolic flexibility, circulating hormones, and so much more. And guess what? Your physical, mental, and emotional state is dependent on the formulation of all of those factors at any point in time, not what your current body mass is. The scale is a tool to recognize a long-term trend, and that's how it should be used. When it starts being used to collect daily stats that ultimately influence whether the weigh-ee can engage in certain activities for that particular day, like eat, it ends up being a tool that does much more damage than good. And if you want to see how ridiculously meaningless daily weight is, watch this video where I demonstrate firsthand how weight fluctuates over a 24-hour period and how truly insane it is to allow 0.2 pounds in either direction impact your day. It's good to have goals and track those goals, but make them realistic and apply perspective. Perspective like a scale not being able to accurately identify what part of my weight is water, undigested food, my organs, my bones, my muscle mass, my subcutaneous fat, which is that fat that accumulates on the outskirts of our body that really isn't associated with any metabolic disease or conditions, or visceral fat, or that fat that accumulates in the abdomen and is associated with chronic disease and metabolic risk. And all of that is why we simply cannot use the scale as the main gauge of health, especially since food and hydration levels easily swing our weight a few pounds in either direction on any given day. So let's put shit in perspective and start playing the long game here. Focus on improving your cellular and metabolic health. And if you do this and focus on the foundational components of health, all of which have playlists on this channel, sleep, movement, and eating, more times than not, if you have weight to lose, you'll probably lose it. And since you'll be getting all this time and energy back from saying F you to solely focusing on weight loss, try out these 3 underestimated longevity movers. First, breath and stress. Let me ask, have you ever paid attention to how you breathe over the course of a day? Do you use your nose or your mouth? Are they short, frequent breaths or long, deep breaths? When was the last time you really filled up the entirety of your lungs with air and then did a full exhale and let it all out? Your breath, believe it or not, happens to be one of the most powerful health tools you have.
What the hell did you just say?
Being able to alter your entire physiological and biochemical state in a matter of minutes. And low-dose chronic inflammation happens to be one of the biggest longevity liabilities that we all face, accelerating essentially anything nefarious happening at the cellular and metabolic level. So what's the connection? It's quite simple. With better breath comes less stress. How, you ask? We have this umbrella-like muscle right under our rib cage called the diaphragm, and it regulates our inhales and exhales. However, many of us barely use it, defaulting to the easier state of chronic chest breathing. And this right here often traps air down at the bottom of our lungs, putting us in a degraded physical and stress-prone state. But when we use this muscle to perform deep, intentional belly breaths, we hack the nervous system, putting ourselves in a more parasympathetic or rest and digest state. This downregulates the signals of stress throughout the body and drives a state of tranquility within. I mean, why do you think monks are so chill? And here's a fun fact. You ready, production team? The lungs happen to be the main excretion point for the byproducts of fatty acid oxidation. Yes, the lungs, not sweat, not urine, not the other place where things come out. The lungs. So, deep intentional breathing may be a smart thing to do if you're looking to release some of that excess fat out of your world. And guess what? It doesn't end there. The apparatus in which you collect or inhale your air matters too. The nose evolved with the respiratory system, and the mouth evolved with the digestive system. We have become a society of chronic mouth breathers, and this hasn't been great for our health. It has actually caused us to bypass all of the awesomely cool protective features that our nose brings to the table, like filtering, humidifying, and warming air, preparing it for optimal absorption in the lungs. It also traps harmful pathogens using its microvilli and mucus sacs and introduces them to our friends, the immune system. It stimulates the release of nitric oxide, dilating blood vessels, improving blood flow, lowering blood pressure, and optimizing oxygen and CO2 transport. It also improves oxygen efficiency, making us able to absorb more while taking less breaths. And surprisingly, improves posture. You try slouching while breathing through your nose. And this is something I experienced firsthand when switching my exercise regimens over to nasal breathing. You can't run in a slouch position breathing through your nose. Doesn't work. Gotta run straight up. Very interesting. So take some time and baseline your breathing state and make a conscious effort to try and use your nose more. You can even try practices like mouth taping to force the issue. And while you're at it, spend 5 minutes each morning box breathing, which is a simple practice that can improve your respiratory health and even help you hack your way back from a stressed out state. 5 second in through the nose, 5 second hold, 5 second exhale, 5 second hold. So easy, even the production team remembers. No, don't do it now. Just keep filming, please. They're like children. Doing this daily can have some pretty profound health impacts. Strengthening your diaphragm, improving oxygen efficiency, and your overall health. And of course, you want to adjust to your respiratory level. So feel free to modify the inhales, exhales, hold. And the most important thing is to just start somewhere. So even if it's 1-2 seconds in and out, start somewhere. It gives you a starting place and you work your way up from there. You'll be surprised on what you can accomplish. And we cover the magical art of breathing much more in depth in this video here. So if you're interested, take a gander. And if you're looking for a good point in your day to implement your breathing practice, a great time is right before underestimated hack number 2, chewing. Do you know how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? Whoa, flashback. I mean, do you know how many chews on average you take per bite? When was the last time you even thought about chewing? Or better question, have you ever thought about chewing? Most of us take 7 to 10 chews per bite. And guess what the average recommended chew count per bite is? Around 30. Yikes. So here's why you should chew. Good digestion starts in the mouth. There are a series of enzymes in our mouth that begin breaking down our food before it's even swallowed. And many times when we eat, we are distracted by the digital chaos around us and proceed to shovel food down the hatch and get up for seconds before we even got a taste of it. So slow down and chew. And I'll be the first one to admit, I am not perfect here, but that leaves room for improvement. Because when you chomp down on your food thoroughly, you get the full benefits of it. For one, it's been shown to increase your enjoyment of the food. It improves your digestion, leading to better nutrient absorption, and may actually help you relax and reduce your levels of stress. And, as you recall from this video, high levels of circulating stress hormones while we eat may lead to the storage of energy in less than optimal places, like visceral fat. And ever since I learned that, I've been sitting my butt at the table for every single meal. It's a struggle sometimes, but I do it. Chewing your food also naturally slows you down, giving the satiety signal time to do its thing, many times decreasing the risk of overeating and the discomfort that comes along with it. So try and make it a habit to sit down, do a minute or two of box breathing to put yourself in a good nervous system state, remove the little distraction devices, and chew. This one right here is drastically underrated and will move the health needle in so many positive ways. Speaking of eating, digesting, and things being underrated, this last tip may be one of the most taken for granted things that we humans do. Walk, specifically after your meals. I know, the last thing you want to do following a long day and a big meal is to walk anywhere other than directly to the couch. But hear me out. Walking is one of the best health hacks you have at your disposal, and it should be something you aim to do after each and every meal, especially after the last meal of the day. 10 minutes is all it takes, and the upside is pretty impressive. First, it aids digestion, stimulating the stomach and the intestines, helping food move through that GI tract more efficiently. It also helps protect against common food aggravating conditions like peptic ulcers, heartburn, IBS, diverticular disease, constipation, and even colorectal cancer. Research also suggests a 10 to 15 minute walk after a meal helps improve blood sugar levels, cardiovascular health by lowering LDL cholesterol and improving triglyceride numbers, while also moving the needle on blood pressure in a more optimal direction. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Walking is a health OG, and we talk more about it here. Sad we need modern science to remind us that it's important. And in case you wanted more, we can't forget it's associated with improvements in joint health. immune function, mood, cognition, weight loss, and weight loss's close but completely unique cousin, fat burn. What is this sorcery? So you might as well leverage this free magic and get your steps in after eating. Cool? Cool. And that's it. That's what I got. I urge you to try and shift your focus from the short-term numbers and start prioritizing improving long-term cellular and metabolic health. All three of these health hacks can and should be used together if possible, and all fit quite nicely into that overarching strategy to improve present-day health and long-term longevity. This game of optimizing these pretty cool meat suits isn't about what you do over the span of 6 to 8 weeks. It's about what you consistently do over time. It's about slowly building long-term sustainable habits that you can take with you for the entirety of your life and that ultimately become your new norm. And when you do that, you'll find yourself consistently performing these healthy habits, not driven by the fact that they're good for you, but because they make you feel good, refreshed, rejuvenated, energized each and every damn day. So, fuck weight loss. And let's get out there and gain some health. As always, let me know what comments, questions, any random thoughts you have down below. And that's a wrap. All right, production team, great job. Thank you. Awesome job. Yeah, high five. What? No, this is how we say thank you in New York too.